British.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Let's read the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record.
And good morning, Cayman. It is a beautiful, beautiful, windy, brisk, for us anyway, morning here in the Cayman Islands. Welcome to the show. I'm Donna Bush in for Mr. Orrit Connor this week. As always, I hope that he's somewhere relaxing and enjoying his time off here. Well, today we have no guests in studio, so I'd like to invite you, the listening public, to be our special guest today on For the Record. We will have to end the show early if you don't put in those calls to us. Again, a reminder of those numbers that you can call. You can call us toll-free at 1-800-534-8255, directly at 949-8037. You can even WhatsApp us at 925-3261 with your questions, concerns. It is your day. It is your morning here on For the Record. Please, the phone lines are open for you to give us a call. I was going through the papers this morning, in particular the Caymanian Times. I'll start with that. And there are lots of stories in the two local papers this week and today in particular. But this one really jumped out at me, so I want to hear what the listening public has to say. The story reads, it's on the front of the Caymanian Times, and it's by Michael Jarvis out of London, and it says, a suggestion by a British MP, that's a member of Parliament, that the overseas territories should be invited to become equal members of the United Kingdom after Brexit is worthy of consideration. The idea comes from John Penrose, Conservative MP for Weston-super-Mare, a seaside town in Somerset, southwest England. It continues by saying it should reopen this issue if the UK and the overseas territories are serious about resetting their relationship as expressed in the title of a last year's report by the UK Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee and its inquiry into the future of relations between these two parties or partners of the United Kingdom. Now, the article goes on in the Caymanian Times on page A7 to say, in an interview with the House magazine, an independent publication covering the British Parliament, Mr. Penrose explained, what I'm suggesting is they should be at least offered the chance to have an equivalent kind of devolution settlement that has already been agreed and negotiated with Scotland, with Wales and Northern Ireland, the we, of course, being the overseas territories, one of which the Cayman Islands is a part. The overseas territories, the article goes on to say, would then become equal elements of the UK with the same status as Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. Further in the article on page A7 of the Caymanian Times, it says, we are aware that many people in the overseas territories feel that they do not receive the attention in Parliament and that they might expect that they might expect rather, and that the Foreign Affairs Committee has not carried out a major overseas territories inquiry since 2008. Very interesting article on the eve of, not the eve rather, but just a few days away of from Brexit, which is scheduled to happen on January the 31st. Very, very interesting article. I want to hear your thoughts on this suggestion or idea by the Conservative MP John Penrose from the UK Parliament. Another story that made the Caymanian Times headline, one we've been hearing about for just a little bit, but it's becoming closer and closer to that time of happening, is the reopening of the Alexander Hotel, which closed 6 years ago. I mean, my time is just really, really moving very, very fast. Sorry if you hear the paper shuffling here. Just trying to move from story to story. They opened back in 2009. The father and son team, the Dilberts, have decided to reopen the hotel on Kimmenbrack because the rooms, of course, are needed there. So they will be able to accommodate 60 guests with 30 rooms. And, of course, the aim is to maintain its unique brand. So that's exciting news for Kimmenbrack. The story begins by saying it's going to be a tremendous thing for Kimmenbrack. So it will officially open its doors next month, which will be great. Personally, I think that's a very good thing, and I wish them all the very best. Another thing that's just happened, actually, is the Cayman Cookout, one of the largest events every year that really pulls in numbers for our tourism product here in Cayman during the high season, bringing foodies, both local and international foodies, great chefs, writers, and the like. I'm sure that, when the numbers are said and done, probably thousands of people attend the various events that take place during the Cayman Cookout, which is an amazing event that really has an event that everyone would like, at least one of their events. You can't possibly go to all of them, as they're usually happening very quickly and on the same days. But you can certainly select what you would like to attend. Lots of events happening there. Another story that made the Caymanian Times headlines is the Caribbean Infrastructure Forum. Right now, the Minister for Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure, the Honorable Joseph Hugh, and his team are in Jamaica at that event. They left over the weekend. Now his senior staff will be going on to the parishes of Clarendon and St. James, where they are going to be touring a number of facilities there. So it seems like they're making the best of the trip, and by spreading their wings and not just attending a forum over there in Jamaica, but it is the 4th annual Caribbean Infrastructure Forum. It actually ended yesterday, I believe. The Caribbean Infrastructure Forum convenes the region's public sector, utilities, financiers, and project investors to map out the region's infrastructure needs, to foster new relationships and introduce Caribbean projects to international sources of expertise and financing. Minister Hugh, as most of the other ministers, or all of the other ministers, are always very, very busy, and I know that he likes to keep on top of what's happening globally, so that, of course, any new ideas and so forth that's supported can be introduced to the Cayman Islands to make life easier here for the Caymanian people and our special invited guests who live here with us. Again, you are the special guest here on For the Record this morning. The phone lines are open. You can call us toll free at 1-800-534-8255. I've just basically been going through the Caymanian Times papers and the one story that really jumped out at me, like I said, is titled "The House Should Be the Overseas Territories Home" as well. One of the UK MPs, Conservative MPs, Mr. John Penrose, actually making suggestions that as Brexit looms to take place on January 31st, that the overseas territories, one of which the Cayman Islands is one of the overseas territories, should be considered to join or become equal elements of the UK with the same status as Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. So I want to hear your thoughts on that, and what do you think about that as our country, works to continue to build a great relationship with our parents, the United Kingdom. Some stories making the Compass headlines. Actually, we're going to just take a quick break here on For the Record. We'll be back with you in just a few minutes to continue talking about the headlines in the two local papers and stories of interest. Lots and lots of stories of interest. But of course, you, the listener, our special guest this morning, you can give us a call and we can talk about some of those. Again, those numbers to call, 1-800-534-8255. That is toll free. Or you can call 949-8037. Again, give us a call. Be a part of this show. You are the special guest this morning. If not, we will be ending early. So give us a call, and I hope to hear from you in just a few minutes after this break.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Over a century ago, the unique industry of barking earned some residents double the daily wages. Barking was no easy task and involved trekking through marshy grounds along the North Sound and stripping the bark from the red mangroves along the coastline. The mangrove trees would die after being debarked, and the bark was exported for use in dyes and tanning leather after being weighed and dried. The laborers were commonly referred to as barking fools for enduring the difficult task, along with battling droves of mosquitoes and doing so without the use of shoes and gloves. Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
2020 means perfect vision, and if you have your sights set on driving a new hybrid, then the time is now to check out the new RAV4 and CHR. Just 2 of the many hybrid models that Vamped is bringing to Cayman. Whether you're looking for a smoother and quieter way of driving or want a car that maximizes fuel efficiency while minimizing emissions, there are lots of ways a new hybrid from Vamped can make the difference in your life. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries without being plugged in. So focus your 2020 vision on a new hybrid from Vamped Motors, and we will see you through. Come to Vamped, home of the hybrid, located on Walkers Road.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the historical vignette series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
And welcome back to the show. If you're just joining us on this beautiful, beautiful Wednesday morning here in our lovely Cayman Islands, I'm Donna Bush, and I'm in for Mr. Connor this week. We've been talking about a number of stories making headlines in the Caymanian Times. I'm going to move over to the Cayman Compass now. But you, the listening public, you're our special guest this morning. So I'm asking you to call in and be a part of the show. You can talk about anything. You don't have to discuss what we've been, the headlines in the newspapers. Anything that's, any questions you may have or any concerns you want to share with us this morning, give us a call toll free at 1-800-534-8255. or on 949-8037. You can even send me a WhatsApp at 925-3261. One of the stories making headlines in the Cayman Compass on page 2, it starts on page 1 actually, it's titled Missing Landfill Worker Declared Officially Dead or Dead. That's Anna Evans, who disappeared 9 years ago. I can't believe it's been 9 long years. One of the side note stories on this is a memorial is planned for Anna. It's been planned by one of her daughters, or her children actually, and it will be held at the public beach. That's the 7 Mile Beach public beach this coming Monday, the holiday Monday, January 27th, again to mark the 9th anniversary of her disappearance. Her kids say in this article that they want to keep her in their hearts and minds. Chelsea Evans was quoted as saying she was just 12 when her mother disappeared after a shift at the Georgetown landfill. That happened back in 2011, and it really seems like just yesterday. The memorial coincides with the recent decision of the Grand Court to declare Anna Evans as legally deceased. Though the timing of the declaration, the article says, was a coincidence, her daughter Chelsea hopes the decision and the event will help the family gain closure. So again, that's taking place on the holiday Monday that's coming up. It all happens, there's 3 cabanas at the 7 Mile Beach public beach, which have been reserved for the memorial, which starts at 5 p.m. Guests are asked to wear purple, which was Evans's favorite color, as well as to bring a candle. All right, we have a caller on the air. Thank you for calling For the Record this morning. Welcome to the show.
Yes, good morning, Miss Donna. Cresswell here.
Good morning, Mr. Cresswell. How are you, sir?
I'm good.
Good. Thank you for calling.
Yes, I would like to draw the attention of, I believe it would be the NRA responsible for trimming the sides of the road with that huge lawnmower.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I think it's the NRA.
Yes.
If it's not, I'm addressing the government entity that is responsible for that.
Yes, sir.
I know that it was out yesterday, or at least could have been Monday now, but and the huge amount of garbage that is left behind. I mean, they put that big blade into the sides of the road, and it goes probably 3 or 4 feet inside there, and it just cuts up the garbage, and no one comes behind to pick it up. Okay. I'm speaking in particular of the road, Captain Joe Osbort's road up in Birch Tree Hill area.
Okay.
That is ridiculous, and I would appreciate if whoever's responsible, please, send somebody behind to collect. I hate it, go ahead or after the equipment has passed, come behind and pick it up because it is awful. I detest driving every morning or every day and just seeing that huge amount of litter. And I personally am tired of picking it up. And maybe if they don't have sufficient crew, maybe it's time for them to put it on private contract or something.
Okay. All right.
So I know they're listening. They might not answer the phone, but they listen to the talk show.
All right, Mr.
You have a good day.
You too, Mr. Cresswell. Thank you for that call. Again, anybody out there listening from the National Roads Authority or the NRA, Mr. Cresswell Powery there from West Bay, talking about the huge, I'm not sure what you call it, I guess it's like a lawnmower that's used at the side of the road by a government crews to clean and to cut the grass on the sides of the road. He was just saying that it usually chops up a lot of debris and leaves the garbage there. And he's obviously one of those people that's very passionate about our islands remaining clean. And for the most part, I have to say, we're a very clean island. They're just obviously some people who don't detest debris or litter like Mr. Powery. But if somebody out there is listening from the NRA, you send your crews behind the weed whacker or whatever you call it, and have them clean up the areas, because you guys do a great job anyway, and let's just continue to do a great job. All right, I understand we have another caller on the air. Thank you for calling For the Record this morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, I'm Donna.
Good morning.
I got an issue this morning with the roundabouts, which I always did. I'm no road expert. I know nothing about roads. But, I've traveled a lot, right, to know when something is right from when something is wrong, because I notice a lot how things are done in other countries, especially the countries that has invented pretty much roundabouts.
Yes, sir.
And when I see that these roundabouts were starting to be built in Cayman, I say, you know what, this is not right. What they're doing is not right. And I don't know who these people are that we are paying to do the works on the roads, but we need to get rid of every one of them and get somebody that don't have a clue about roads, and I think we'll get a much better job, because the ones that are there now that claim that they have the knowledge and the engineering expertise and this and that, they're a bunch of jokes. They make these roundabouts and they go and they spend a whole pile of money landscaping them and putting all kind of expensive pieces of art or trees and this and that into them, and then they go and they tear them back up. Don't they know that, when they're doing something like this, that, they have to build it for the future, not for just today? Look at what they're doing now to that roundabout, going there up in the Prospect area, Dr. Thomason roundabout or Krista Thomason roundabout.
Yeah, I think the roundabouts are all, the roundabouts, if I'm not, correct me if I'm wrong, are all privately maintained. So I really don't know. I couldn't say what knowledge these companies and private individuals may have as to the future of the roundabouts. Do you see what I'm saying? From that end.
Donna, the thing is, whether they're privately cared for, somebody has to pay for what they're doing. I'm sure the people that are sponsoring these roundabouts are not going to pay for the tearing up of what they're doing to these roundabouts. No, because, they were poorly designed. There's nothing right about them, because you don't build a roundabout and put all of this landscaping and all of these monuments and all the different kind of whatever you want to call it, on the roundabouts. Roundabouts are designed to where you can see directly across from one side to the other side, so you can always get an idea of what the traffic is like and about. But these roundabouts, I mean, you don't have a clue once you get to it what is around the corner waiting for you, or what is no idea. And you know, it's totally wrong. I mean, somebody needs to take this thing by the horn and say, look, you know, this is not right. And I mean, it just annoys me every time that I've known from the beginning it was wrong, and it really is proving me right now from what I'm seeing because of what they're doing. They're tearing all of this money back. Where is this money coming from? It's coming out of our pockets. The people of this country, why should we have the person that is responsible for building these roundabouts and designing them the way that they are should have to pay for everything now that has to be done as far as the redesigning and all of this other foolishness that they're doing, because they're not going to make any difference with what they do with the roads, because we have too many cars in this country, and until I'll make some adjustments on people that are coming here, they cannot own a car. You can't own 2-3 cars. You can't get in the car business, because you'll be surprised to see how many people that lives here, they goes and buy cheap cars, they spend a couple of dollars on it, and they turn around and they make a return on it. But you know what? Nobody cares about things like that, what they're doing. They can try to build new roads. Well, you know what? Good luck. It's not going to happen. There's no place to put roads, and I don't care what they do. So thank you very much, Donna, for listening to me.
Yes, caller, thank you very much. You made some very interesting points there. I'm hoping that the powers that be are listening. And I get your points on the way that the roundabouts are built, and you're supposed to have a line of vision across the roundabouts. That's the whole purpose of them. From my experience, roundabouts have also been, when you have countries with smaller types of cars, the scope and the width of the roundabouts are usually very much smaller. So on and so forth. So some very interesting points there. Caller, thank you for calling us with that on that subject. The subject of traffic has been an ongoing one for some time. It's a part of conversations on a daily basis, and I do know that government is working towards trying to do what they can do to plan ahead and to widen the roads and put in more lanes, and so on and so forth. There was some forward thinking there, as you can see. Actually, we're going to continue this conversation in just a little bit about the traffic. We do have another caller on the line. Thank you so much for calling For the Record this morning. Do you have a question or a concern you'd like to talk about, sir?
Good morning, Donna. Happy New Year.
Same to you.
It's always a pleasure to hear you on.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I'm loving this guy. He's calling all the time, and I agree with everything he said from top to bottom every time he calls.
Yeah.
Because he's making a point. Yes. I have traveled extensively, and I've never, ever in my life seen a roundabout with all these pile of trees in it, and the roundabouts are so humongous. Why do they have to be so huge? Because they're planning a family, to put a house on it, or what? Is it a family lot or something? You know, they don't need to be putting all this stuff on top of the roundabout. They shouldn't even be so big. Gas is expensive. You know how much gas it takes to go around one of them? Oh, my God. I just wanted to comment this guy, because he calls all the time, and I hear him all the time, and I feel what he's saying, because the people don't even know how to use the roundabout. They don't even care to want to know. They will run you over. They're switching lanes on the roundabout every day, all the time I go out on the road. So obviously the people don't know how to use the roundabout. I know you got news and all of that, but I just wanted to rant with this fella. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much, and thanks for the laugh. You made me laugh. That's a good one. I'm just gonna just say this out loud. The roundabouts. I get everything that everybody is saying, but, I think aesthetically speaking, the goal was to make these roundabouts more aesthetically pleasing to the eye. During the Christmas, they're all lit up. You have to admit, everybody enjoys seeing them, and they don't know what to expect from year to year with the roundabouts and how they're decorated. So it's some people consider that to be very, very distracting. Well, maybe we need to look at another way and just take all of that away and, scale them down in size and just leave them empty with nothing on them. And then let's see what happens from there. I mean, it's thank you for the ideas this morning, and thank you to both callers. We're going to take a break here now, and for the record, we'll be back in just a bit after the news.
As you journey through 2020, we challenge you to live to eat and look at food differently. Look at the cultural side, the side that demands respect, and the fun side. Food is more than nourishment. It bridges gaps and sends a message of love and acceptance, and coincidentally tastes great doing it too. Food has the power to inspire and connect us with people and places we never thought we'd experience. So, look at food differently. You won't be disappointed. At Foster's, we live to eat.
Studio time by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
The Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Value Med Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop Value Med for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and in Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Island.
With your latest news, I'm Karsley Fuller. At this year's Cayman Finance Breakfast Briefing in New York, Premier the Honorable Alden McLaughlin expressed his thanks to those who do business with Cayman.
Gatherings such as this also provide a platform for me as Premier to say how much we in the Cayman Islands appreciate and value the business relationship of the people in this room. You're all an important part of the Cayman Islands' economic fabric.
The Premier told the group Cayman is enjoying a robust period of economic activity with solid, sustained growth across all sectors combined with low unemployment rates and moderate inflation.
Economic growth that, along with prudent financial management, has provided strong and stable government finances with operational surpluses that has enabled us to invest in major infrastructure projects and improve public services while reducing public sector debt and growing our reserves.
Mr. McLaughlin did acknowledge talk of possible recession and said Cayman has, as a result, forecast slower growth for this year and next, bearing in mind the International Monetary Fund's lower projections for the world's advanced economies. And more than 150 young people, team leaders, and community partners participated in the 5th annual YMCA Leadership Conference this past weekend. Details from CIG TV's Donna Bush.
Supported by the Ministry of Education and Youth, the conference is the Cayman Islands YMCA's largest training and development held event each year. Workshops were held highlighting various topics of interest to young people, including social emotional learning for teens, skills for child protection, enhancing mathematics, and being aware of children's needs. Councillor Barbara Connolly was one of several speakers at the event.
The Ministry of Education initiated the EASP in 2011. The program was born out of a need to provide wholesome and challenging activities for our children in a structured environment. As a ministry, we felt that the YMCA could enable the program's continued success by facilitating further development of our island's youth. Currently, the program serves over 1,300 youth each year. Through the program, the YMCA, or the Y, has brought together a highly qualified team of approximately 100 staff and 50-plus volunteers and community partners who contribute to the success of this program.
And young people involved with the YMCA and their leaders from across the Caribbean and North America traveled to Grand Cayman to participate.
Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Karsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with David Austin. Chinese officials have advised 11 million people at the centre of an outbreak of a new virus not to travel for the main national holiday to avoid spreading it. People in Wuhan have been asked not to leave the city. More than 400 people have been infected with the coronavirus. The World Health Organization is to hold an emergency meeting later today to assess whether the new virus poses a global risk. The Saudi authorities say reports that the mobile phone of the Amazon founder Jeff Bezos was hacked by the kingdom's crown prince are absurd. The reports say large amounts of data was extracted from the phone in 2018 after Mr. Bezos received a WhatsApp message allegedly from Prince Mohammed bin Salman's account. A strike has begun on 3 Greek islands in protest at conditions stemming from chronic overcrowding in camps for migrants. Residents are demanding that the central government speed up the transfer of migrants to the mainland. Parliament in Greece has elected a former top judge as the country's first woman president. Ekaterini Sakeleropoulou won a cross-party majority from MPs in a rare display of unity. The newly appointed Lebanese Prime Minister says the country faces an economic catastrophe. Hassan Diab said Lebanon was at a financial and social dead end. Months of protests forced the previous government to resign. 2 days of mourning have begun in Burkina Faso following the latest attack by Islamist militants in which 36 civilians were killed. The town of Kaya, which is north of the capital, is filling up with hundreds of people fleeing from the region where the attack happened. That's the latest BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by Value Med Pharmacy, with 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and an Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy. Value Med Pharmacy is your community care partner for health and wellness needs. We offer convenient prescription processing at the counter and online at value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com, with pickup available at the Walkers Road or Boddentown location. We also accept transfer prescriptions from other pharmacies. More than just a pharmacy, shop Value Med for personal care and beauty products from trusted brands, perfume and gift sets, Hallmark and greeting cards, baby clothes, footwear, handbags, swimwear, home decor, toys, school supplies, and stationery. And home convalescence aids like wheelchairs, walkers, crutches, canes, and hospital beds. With 2 locations to serve you, Walkers Road in Georgetown and in Evron Plaza, Boddentown. Visit Value Med, more than just a pharmacy.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
This is the NDC. We're calling on all volunteers to assist us in the administration of the Cayman Islands Student Drug Use Survey.
The survey tracks and monitors over time high-risk behaviors, trends, mental health, and bullying, among other things. This allows us to develop and implement evidence-based prevention programs in our schools and communities.
To volunteer, please call 949-9000 or email iMcLean@ndc.ky by January 24th.
Volunteers must be 18 years or older, can give approximately 1 hour of their time, and willing to attend a brief 30-minute training.
The Weather Report is proudly sponsored by Super Stitch Sewing and Fabric Center, your one-stop household store at 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best prices in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself.
Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Superstitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Superstitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Good morning. Time now to take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is a cool 72 degrees. Relative humidity is 59%. The barometric pressure 30.00 inches and rising. The wind is north at 50 knots. Overnight low temperature was 71. Synopsis indicate moderate to fresh northerly winds and rough seas expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours in association with a high-pressure system over the southeast United States. Now, the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with less than a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the low 80s. Your winds will be north to northwesterly 15 to 20 knots with higher gusts, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 5 to 7 feet. Small craft should continue to exercise caution over open water, and swells are expected along the west and north coast for today and tonight as well. Now, the forecast for tonight calling for partly cloudy skies with less than a 20% chance of showers. Temperatures dipping to the mid-70s tonight. Your winds will be north to northwest at 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Today's high tide will occur this morning at 8:59, low tide this afternoon at 5 minutes past 3, and a high tide again tonight at 8:14. Sunset, 11 minutes past 6, and the sun will rise tomorrow morning at 2 minutes after 7. And the outlook is calling for moderate north to northeasterly winds and slight seas from tomorrow morning as the pressure gradient over the northwest Caribbean begins to slacken. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center was the proud sponsor of the Weather Report, your one-stop shop for all of your household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations, and much more. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customer care at superstitch.com.ky. New stock has just arrived at Superstitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Superstitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Superstitch, 39 Pasador Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Can you imagine where Cayman runs off renewable energy? We can. Learn how you can join government and be an energy advocate.
Visit the Ministry of Commerce, Planning and Infrastructure's Facebook page to learn more.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning. Let's take a look at what's happening with our traffic. I know you've been in traffic a long time. Delays expected and a lot of patience needed this morning as you head on down to Georgetown. Employers expect your employees to be a little late as traffic is a nightmare this morning coming from the east on Shamrock Road and the Linford Pearson Highway, crawling traffic. Looking towards the West Bay four-way stop, moderate flow of traffic, and traffic is moderate on Eastern Avenue and Godfrey Nixon Way. No issues on Owen Roberts Drive. And looking towards the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. And traffic on Sheridan Road is also moderate. And some sections of Crew Road, busy traffic, other sections steady. And as we look towards North Sound Road coming from the Butterfield roundabout, heading towards the Industrial Park area, traffic flowing moderately, and the usual traffic flow on the Esterly Tibbetts Highway. Remember, roadworks continue in the vicinity of the Tomlinson roundabout for the next few weeks. That's the very latest on your traffic. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12. We'll give you another traffic outlook. Have a good morning and buckle up. You'll get there.
Do you ever have those days when you have to get a super early start? Or you're out late and want something fresh and healthy to eat? Subway has now opened their 4th 24-hour location for you early birds and night owls. Subway at West Shore Center on 7 Mile is now open 24 hours. So now you can grab any of Subway's fresh menu items any time of the day at 4 convenient locations. West Shore Center 7 Mile, Countryside in Savannah, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers West Bay. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Spring clean your kilts and fluff your sporn and practice the gay Gordons. The Burn Supper is coming.
On January the 24th, Jasmine is hosting its 5th annual Burn Supper at the Grand Ole House. Starting at 6:30, this is an evening not to be missed. Your ticket of $150 includes a 4-course dinner, wine, whiskey, and lots of Scottish dancing. Thanks to our sponsors Artec, RSM, Butterfield, and Macallan. For more information and to reserve your tickets this year to our Burn Supper, please call 945-7447 or email info@jasmine.ky. All proceeds benefit Jasmine Palliative and Hospice Care Services.
We'll see you lads and lassies on the dance floor.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
And welcome back to For the Record. If you're just joining us on this beautiful Wednesday morning, you, the public, is our special guest this morning. I'm Donna Bush in for Mr. Ort Connor this week. Right now, we're going to put a hold on the phone calls that we may get for a few minutes. We have a special guest in studio. Actually, he came in to join me for a few minutes. Mr. Loxley Banks, very popular man in the media realm here, in the entertainment realm here in the Cayman Islands, and he's here to talk about a show that he does here on Radio Cayman that he's been doing for a long time during his time here, which I'm sure is many, many years, called CI Retro. Welcome to the show this morning, Mr. Banks. Tell us about CI Retro for those who may not tune in or those who you may want to tune in going forward.
Thank you, Donna. CI Retro is a program that I put together, well, I guess about 15 years ago. Actually, I had it in mind before I retired, but after I retired, I kind of went back to it and put it together to where we look back on Cayman Islands' history, its culture, and its heritage, and try to float these various aspects of that up to the top to where we can all be aware of it, because I think one of the things that we have been very lax on, in fact, sometimes it's been almost non-existent, is singing our song, our history, our culture, our heritage. We've got a rich history, we've got a rich culture, we've got a rich heritage. But it's becoming more endangered as we move along by other impinging, let's be fair, but cultures and other that's coming across our shores. And if we're not diligent in floating these things up to the top, and I use a sort of mariner's expression there, floating them up to the top, anchoring them on a good bogwood buoy, then they're going to be lost. And, where will we be? We'll be floating out to sea and with no steerage.
Oh wow! Well, thank goodness for CI Retro and your knowledge that you impart upon our listeners, along with your special guests all the time. So CI Retro happens when on Radio Cayman, and then tell us about what the next show is going to be about.
Well, the CI Retro program, we do it in various series, maybe a series of 3 programs, sometimes 5 programs. I think this series will probably run maybe into 6 programs over maybe the next 6-7 months. Okay. And we're in this celebratory period, the constitutional celebratory period, celebrating 60 years since our first constitution. So this, actually, which is the second program in this series, because we did the program just before Christmas on Cayman Christmas Traditions Remembered.
Yes.
And this one is on the path to our first constitution, and Cayman Island politics and governance.
Okay.
And we went back and reconstructed quite a bit of narrative from the folks who was around when this first constitution came into being.
Mm-hmm.
And they had memories, of course, of how it was maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years prior to that. Right. So we have constructed some narrative around some personal narrative of these folks who lived this who traveled this path. And you know, we will listen to a lot of that, and we'll have some really important and knowledgeable guests that can pipe in on these various subjects. And within, actually, it's about 90 minutes of narrative that we have reconstructed. And the subject itself, the path to our first constitution and Cayman Islands politics and governance, is such a vast subject that I think that we're going to have to do it over a 3-program series.
Okay.
Because, you know, it's so much, and we're at a junction now where we're celebrating our 60th anniversary, and good junction to kind of gel everything up from 1503 up to 2020.
Right.
So that's what it'll be all about. In fact, we got just a little 2-minute cut that I think Susan has ready over there that will kind of let you hear this morning, and you will get an idea of some of the the content that you'll hear in these 3-program series, which it will probably be, the 3-program series will probably be done over a 3-month period, because it's putting all these things together, and some of the difficult in reconstructing this stuff, because a lot of what you will hear in the program, that is the narrative from 40, 50, 60, 70 years back, are still on reel-to-reel tape. And unless those things are well taken care of, they deteriorate.
Right.
And it's quite a job to go back and reconstruct all of this stuff and get it to where it's sort of in a listenable fashion within the digital world that we're in. So, Susan, if you play that, and the first voice you'll hear is Doran Miller, who was very much into CI history and culture and Cayman heritage, and he, like myself, I guess we ate it up. And my mind goes back many times. If we had the technology available to us, Radio Cayman came into being, I guess, 44 years ago or something like that. I think we would probably resurrected Columbus speaking when he saw when he saw Cayman Bragg. But anyway, let's listen to that. That I think is about yeah.
Representative government by justices and vestry in the Cayman Islands came to an end some 23 years ago. It was on July 3rd, 1959, the day before the first Constitution came into effect, that the 54-member body met for the last time. We think it worthy to quote from farewell messages of some of those serving when the dissolution of that assembly came. The quotes are taken from the historical record compiled and written by Clerk of the Legislature, Mrs. Sybil McLaughlin, to mark this year's anniversary. Mr. E. Ducan Merrin, speaking that day, noted that the Cayman Islands were then on the map and predicted greater things were to come, which would mean the spending of millions of dollars, and that these developments would not take long to become reality. Mr. T.W. Farrington of West Bay chose the occasion to quote Commissioner Cardinal's advice to him on the eve of his departure to the Falkland Islands. "Willie, my boy," said the Commissioner, "you have now been put on the map. For God's sake, promise me you will not allow outsiders to come and take this beautiful island away from you." Mr. Farrington continued that what Sir Alan Cardinal meant could well be appreciated if stock was taken of what was happening all around the Caymans. Commissioner Alan H. Donald said that perhaps one of the most important features of the new Constitution would be that women would be expected to shoulder their share of the burden of state. He noted that women were not only being given the right to vote and to hold public office, they were being given a solemn duty of taking a mature and adult part in running their country.
The era of vestrymen and justices, as you know, the first constitution of the Cayman Islands. This was when Jamaica went full internal self-government. And of course, the island had to decide and the course it would like to take, whether it would remain with Jamaica or it would adopt its own constitution.
Yeah. Okay, I think that's the end of the excerpt there. Very interesting hearing that. Do we know what year that may have been?
Well, that was done in about probably some of it was done as far back as 1980.
Okay.
But I think the bulk of it was probably in the 81, 82 period, 1982 period.
Well,
and
it's great that we've been able to preserve and have the
but you know what
access to those.
What was interesting in it, listening to those things was what I guess it was Commissioner Cardinal told Mr. Willie Frankton, one of the, and I think he still holds the record for the longest service in the Cayman Islands legislature. What he told him when he was leaving. You haven't memorized that yet? You need to memorize it. Yeah. He said, and I think I have it memorized. Really, my boy, you're on the map now. Don't let them come in and take it from you. Mm-hmm. And Mr. Willie's response in when Commissioner Cardinal said that was looking at what's happening around us today and thinking back now, this would be maybe 60 years, 60 years, 60 years hence. It seems that that's what's happening.
Yeah.
And 60 years forward now, isn't that our same thoughts?
Yeah, it's very, very interesting, and it's good though that your CI Retro show is really focusing on all of this history. Particularly, we heard Mr. Dorian Miller mention our women getting the right to vote back in 1959. It was the first time that they could run as members of Parliament, and it's so fitting because as in the next couple of days, we're going to be celebrating those women, those four women, two of whom are still alive, during National Heroes Day on January 27th. So,
but and as I said, we reconstructed about 90 minutes, and that was just a 2-minute clip, and you see all of the various aspects that came in that 2-minute thing, 2-minute excerpt, and it makes for some good discussion, and the voice you heard was Dorian Miller, who was Eddie Cayman's former deputy director and news editor, and everything else that
every other hat
kind of stirred around here. Yeah. And you heard a few sentences from Sir Vassal Johnson, and some of the other voices that we've been able to bring back up to the surface with Miss Annie Hulda Bodens and I think Mr. Haig Bodden, and I think you'll hear also Mr. Craddock Banks from Northside, one of those staunch legislators who, if you wanted to convince him about something, you had to really work on it, because once he made his mind up,
that was it.
It was kind of hard to sway that. And I think also on it will be, I believe Miss Genevieve has a little, and she was a real famous educational officer here in Cayman, and also Ben Sneebanks, who's still around, and he tells a really fascinating tidbit about some of his encounters with. And I think this was during the period when the West Indian Federation and all this other political was being, put on the table and stirred around. And when I heard you come on the air this morning, I think you read something that was in one of the papers where it said that with Brexit,
yes,
that some MP had made the suggestion that they should make the overseas colonies or overseas territories, I guess, more or less a borough or something along that line in the UK political system.
Yes.
And Benson relates that a Jamaican politician said to him, made it in his presence in Jamaica at one of these conferences that he went to around that time, that, you know, we could have had Cayman in the palm of our hand if we had but given Cayman at the time a seat in the in the Jamaican Legislative Assembly, because his thoughts were that it would be too big a plum for the political in Cayman to reject. Now, you know, run that whole thought around in your mind for a little bit, and you know, it'll go wondering.
That's interesting. I've never heard that.
But you see, we're back to the same, basically the same suggestion here.
Yes. Yeah, it's interesting how history repeats itself, as I always say. But I've never heard that before. But I wonder, it does make you wonder whether our 12 forefathers that made that decision not to go independent, or not to, you know, but to remain under the United Kingdom, whether they would have made the decision had, you know, a parliamentary seat be offered to them.
Well, yeah, and that's a good that would be a good discussion, because really my own and I thought about it after you know, listening back to it. I was aware of it way back, but I never gave it that much thought. But I think the Caymanian gut and common sense would have erred on the right side.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us when CI Retro, when we can listen in, and who your guests are going to be, what date and time.
Well, yeah, we just said that we'll have some very, very important guests and knowledgeable guests that are going to be on there and that know about all of this.
Yes.
And they will be, you know, interspersing with what was said 40, 50, 60 years ago. And,
right.
You know, and well, the first program in the constitutional series comes on Friday in the Talk Today space there. CI Retro Talk Today.
Okay.
Special presentation.
Okay.
Friday at 12:15.
Okay.
And you can listen in and get all the information. And of course, you know, the CI Retro programs are repeated, usually twice after the original airing, usually the following Thursday and then the following Sunday. And Thursdays at 7 o'clock in the evening and Sundays at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So,
all right.
And of course, we have to really thank the Ministry of Culture for jumping in and really, you know, heightening the approach to raising some of this history up to the top. They're very much interested in the Cayman Islands public community, you know, knowing about this, and they're working hard to bring it up and preserve it. And of course, some sponsors from the private sector, Health Service Station in West Bay, which has been very supportive of the CI Retro series all through the years.
Awesome.
And Parsons Air Conditioning, and there's been some others along the way. I mean, we produced, I think it was a 14-program series on Cayman's maritime heritage some years back under the CI Retro banner. And you know that in 2021, the maritime heritage, and I don't think this is any secret, this is what I've been told, the maritime heritage subject will be the celebration of Heroes Day.
Yes. So you'll be able to repeat that series, hopefully, and
well, we'll come up with all kind of new information. We might even have Tom Rock saying something about the Cayman Islands maritime heritage.
Mr. Banks, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
And we're going to take a break here on For the Record. However, I'd like to remind you of the toll-free number that you can call, or the other numbers that you can contact us by to join us as special guests this morning. And we have an open mic. Toll-free, you can call us at 1-800-534-8255, or you can call 949-8037. As well, you can WhatsApp us at 925-3261. We'll be continuing our discussions from some of the callers earlier, their issues of concern, and we'll be right back with more on For the Record. Stay with us.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
Hi, I'm thinking of buying a car from the States. Which port do you ship out of?
Hi, we ship out of Miami, Houston, and Brooklyn. Just let us know your port of choice and we can provide you with a quotation and answer any questions you may have on insuring and protecting your vehicle during its journey.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
2020 means perfect vision. And if you have your sights set on driving a new hybrid, then the time is now to check out the new RAV4 and CHR. Just two of the many hybrid models that Vamped is bringing to Cayman. Whether you're looking for a smoother and quieter way of driving or want a car that maximizes fuel efficiency while minimizing emissions, there are lots of ways a new hybrid from Vamped can make the difference in your life. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries without being plugged in. So focus your 2020 vision on a new hybrid from Vamped Motors, and we will see you through. Come to Vamped, home of the hybrid, located on Walkers Road.
The 8:12 a.m. Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center. Superstitch Sewing and Fabric Center is your one-stop shop for all of your sewing and alterations, fabrics, household items, craft items, jewelry, beads, and decorations. Call Superstitch at 949-2833 or email customercare@superstitch.com.ky. Superstitch, located 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road, still offering the best prices in town.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
All right, and welcome back to For the Record. I'm Donna Bush, in for Mr. Ort Connor this week. If you're just joining us, welcome to the show. It is open mic this morning. Please, you can give us a call with your comments or concerns or questions. We will have to end the show early if we don't have the public's participation. So before we had Mr. Loxley Banks join us to talk about his show here on Radio Cayman, CI Retro, two callers called in about roundabouts, about the roundabouts. They gave us their thoughts and their opinions on what they think of the roundabouts, that they're too huge. There's really no cross the roundabout visual line for drivers. They felt that they were basically defeating the purpose, and that some of them are now being made smaller. They're being ripped up and redone. And one caller wondered who was paying for this, and basically said that it's coming out of the public purse. I understand somebody else has called and wanted to find out if the roundabouts are leased to the private companies that maintain and provide their signage and ownership of the roundabouts. I really don't know the answer to that question, but the caller is wondering whether money is being made by government on leasing the roundabouts. Again, I can't answer that question for you, but I'll certainly get in touch with those who are responsible and get an answer for that question for you for Friday. And callers just basically said that the trees on the roundabouts and should be cut down, removed. Lots of suggestions there on the roundabouts as we go through the issue of traffic issues in the mornings and so on and so forth. The government is working, the NRA in particular, to widen the roads and to make traffic much more comfortable for those particularly traveling from the east or to and fro from the east in the evenings and in the mornings. There are a lot of ideas and a lot of solutions as to how the road situation can be fixed. I, for one, believe in flex time when it comes to persons on the road. The biggest concern that I see as a motorist for me is, I know during the school periods when school is in, traffic is many times over much worse. When school is out, traffic pretty much flows. So that tells me that's a very that's a picture there that stands out in my mind. A lot of other folks have a lot of other ideas, and everybody's entitled to share their ideas. But that is the one thing that really, really stands out to me, is the fact that when school is in session, traffic is much worse than when it's out. And I think there are a lot of people out there who would agree with me on that. So again, I'll try and get the question answered. Are these roundabouts leased? Is any money made off them? For the caller for Friday's show that's coming up. So I will get on that for you. Again, it is open mic this morning here on For the Record. We'll be ending the show shortly. If you don't have any concerns or questions for us this morning here. Heroes Day is coming up, as all of you know. Some of you may not know. Heroes Day, the celebration itself, is coming up. It's taking place this coming holiday Monday, January 27th. Everyone is asked to be seated in downtown Georgetown by 8:30 in the morning and to come dressed with your Sunday best. It promises to be a very fun event. You get out and you see your friends. Our heroes will be highlighted. Our vestrymen that took part in our first written constitution, as well as the 4 women who are being called the Phenomenal Four, 2 of whom are still with us from 1959, that were the first 4 women to ever stand for a seat in Parliament here in the Cayman Islands. So they will be honored. Their families will be there with them, their friends. It promises to be an interesting and good morning for everyone. Organizers, the protocol office, and there are many volunteers, as well as the small team from Celebrate Cayman. They've told us that the ceremony should be over just before 12 in downtown Georgetown, right over in Heroes Square, where the bus of another 5 heroes will be unveiled for the very first time to the public. So it promises to be a good time. There's going to be great Caymanian food. It's a free event. Refreshments are free. There'll be a great exhibit in the library right across the street. It promises to be a really, really good time. So anyone out there who's listening, I'd encourage you to go out to our National Heroes Day celebrations for a few hours on Monday, January 27th in the morning. Ceremony will begin at 9. You're being asked to take your seat by 8:30 in the morning. Again, it's a free event. I got a WhatsApp message from someone who says the roundabouts are big distractions. You might as well be on your cell phone. Very interesting comments this morning. Obviously, the roundabouts are a point of contention for many, many, many people. My own personal experience is that many people who are motorists on the roads simply do not know how to use the roundabouts. I witness this on a daily basis myself. They just don't know how to use the roundabouts. I too live in one of the eastern districts, so coming into town for me is, I know that if you're going on a roundabout and you're going to exit on the left, well, then you go in the left lane. And every morning, repeatedly, there's a bottleneck in the right lane for people who are going to the left. So there's no free flow of traffic going to the right, going around a roundabout to go back east. It's just simple. And I have to tell you, one thing that really, really bothers me as a motorist is how rude so many motorists are. I'm doing the right thing. I'm exiting the roundabout on the left, so I'm in the left lane. and motorists are looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what am I doing? I've had people give me the finger. I've had people, I could see their mouths moving, cursing me. Road courtesy in Cayman is certainly not what it used to be. But I just have to let those motorists know that I am doing the right thing. Maybe you should, take a page from my book because I know how to use a roundabout. So that is part of the issue. To some, it may be a very small part, but just motorists simply knowing how to use the roundabouts would certainly help. Yeah. Somebody sent a message saying, "How about signs on the roundabout that say drive on the left and do not speed?" Now, there's a brilliant idea. Thank you to that person for sending that in. Yeah. Signage would be good. Signage would definitely be that could certainly be something that's incorporated. Telling persons that if you're exiting on the left, that you should stay in the left lane. So that might be a light bulb moment for some people out there that, think they've been doing the right thing and using the roundabouts in the right way for how many years now. And in fact, you're not. Because I see it happening all the time. It's really a nightmare, and you have to have many eyes around you because of the way some people drive and use the roundabouts. We do have one caller. Thank you for joining us here on For the Record. Do you have a question or something to talk to us about this morning?
Yes, I do, Miss Donna. And how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Not too bad. Thankful for another day.
Yes.
It's wintry looking, though.
I know. But at least we're not in the freezing cold and it's not steaming hot. So
yeah,
a lot to be thankful for.
This is Cayman winter, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think what happened, Miss Donna, we as many of us, so many concerns of what's happening in our little island, that some of us are getting disheartened, dismay, discouraged, you name it, because of what's going on. If you just take the working problems here in Cayman, as Caymanians, and not only educated Caymanians, but Caymanians that really want to work and can't find a job. But I don't know if our representatives realize, and other people that are in authority realize, what are we doing to our people, and what can we do to say, hey, listen, we're here, we need work. It's like, okay, we'll just give them twice a year to clean up streets, and that should do it. Because we Caymanians are known to be, quiet and not talking about riots or. But when you turn the coin around, it may happen. If something is not done with our Caymanians that want to work, like I said before, and need to work. As a Caymanian in your own island, you grew up, you know people, but yet they still don't want to give you a chance to get that foot in the door. And that is pathetic, because this is the only place in the civilized world that I know about that the people do not come first. The people do not come first. We're the last to know about a job, and then to be told, got someone more qualified, you're overqualified, I wish to goodness that is glued on many people's tongue, and unfortunately, it's our own Caymanians that are saying so. And then we're like going ahead, hiring people, pay them little or nothing, and then they have places to stay that not even sanitary facilities. What in the world are we creating? Are we creating a third world little island or country, whichever you want to call it? Because may I tell you, it is so many disheartened and discouraged people, and not only the older people that is still young enough to have jobs, but the younger people that we keep saying, you are our future of tomorrow, but yet they can't get jobs. That is one of the biggest problems in this island, and it's going to cause something bad to happen, like people are just going to get enough and go on a rampage, or I don't think our representatives are realizing that, because when you have people in this island, 30,000 work permits and more, and some of them came here with the work permit, some come and they got a job right away, even selling snacks at different places, but we can't find a Caymanian to do that. It's very disheartening, Miss Donna. I know that you understand, and many more understand, but I'm going to end it there, because I may say things that I shouldn't say, but it is disheartening, it's discouraging. It's discouraging to the younger ones that's trying so hard to get educated and is educated but can't get a job. Ms. Donna, I wish you a good day, and thanks very much for listening to me. And those that call in about the roundabout, they're absolutely right. These roundabouts, one of them down to the end of the bridge on the West Bay end, I call that Little Cayman. That's Little Cayman right there.
Caller, thank you so much. I wish you a wonderful day. And of course, thank you for being our special guest this morning on For the Record. All right, we're going to take a break here on For the Record, and we'll come back with more in just a minute.
It was a day that changed my life. No words can describe the feelings of seeing my baby boy sick for the first time. The overwhelming feeling of fear to be responsible for his health and happiness became my priority. So I did what any nurturing mother would do when their baby is sick. I took him to get some of the best medicine possible.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Cayman Keswick 2020 starts on Sunday, January 19th at 7 p.m. and will continue every evening at 7 o'clock until Friday, January 24th at the Church of God Chapel on Walkers Road. The speaker this year is Johnson Lamb. Mr. Lamb is the former chairman and CEO of Keswick Ministries. Lunchtime sessions are at the Family Life Center on Walkers Road, Monday to Friday from 12:10 p.m. Cost of lunch is just $5 CI. You can join Radio Cayman each evening at 7 p.m. from Sunday, January 19th to Friday, January 24th for a live broadcast from Cayman Keswick 2020.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor continues right now on Radio Cayman.
And welcome back to For the Record. If you're just joining us, I'm Donna Bush in for Mr. Ort Connor this week. We have invited you, the public, the listening public, as our special guest this morning. We had one caller just before the break, and thank you to the caller for her comments, and it really surrounded unemployment of Caymanians in particular. I do know that, and I don't have the numbers, unfortunately, but I do know that unemployment for Caymanians, the numbers have decreased over the last 4 years, 3 years, maybe even longer. Again, I don't have those numbers, but if I could just throw a few things out there, we hear the stories of highly qualified Caymanians coming back and not being able to find work. There's lots of things that need to be considered here. There are very highly qualified Caymanians coming back and can't find work in their particular fields. It's not strange to consider things like almost reinventing yourself. If you come back with, a medical degree, let's say, for instance, and you can't get work in your specialized field, there's nothing wrong with you reinventing yourself with that same particular degree, and maybe going into another area of practice and general practice, or whatever it may be. But I think we need to consider, there's things that we can consider rather than complaining about it, but just trying to find solutions on an individual basis. So one thing is, again, reinventing yourself. If you come to a point in your life or you're just a young person, you don't particularly know what it is that you want to do, think about the things that you can do. Think about the passions and the talents that you may have. Also, another thing is, we find a lot of people who come here who are special guests in our country that live here, who are residents. They come very, very highly qualified. But you know what? They get their foot in the door, they start at the bottom, and then they work themselves up to the top. I'm just throwing that out there. We just need to think about reinventing ourselves, starting at the bottom sometimes. You may not be able to go in and be, the medical doctor that you were trained to be or whatever, but you can start somewhere. So those are things to consider. All right. Well, we do have one caller on the air. Thank you for calling For the Record this morning.
Good morning to you, Mr. Bush. And,
good morning.
Yes, with regards, just a few things I'd like to speak on. With regards to the first caller, my friend Mr. Creswell, who talked about trees hanging over and roads. And there's one in Savannah blocking a 30-mile-an-hour sign, the speed limit sign coming from down west going up east. It's the one as you start into Savannah from westward bound, and it's blocked completely. And it's been for weeks now, and police drive by every day, and I'm sure the NRA drive by, I've seen it, and others. And this can be remedied, and it should be cut down. And that's not acceptable at all. Because I watched the tourists go through it, rent a car, tourists obviously, and they didn't realize that they're still doing their 40 miles an hour. When they saw the other people slowing down was because they couldn't see it. We know where it's at, those of us hearing, but they don't know. And anyhow, and the roundabouts, they're too small in diameter. It's only a few of them, a very few, that are really a size that makes it drivable, really. The rest are too small. You have roundabouts should be at least a quarter of a mile or a few hundred feet easily in diameter. Okay. It makes it serve the purpose it was created for. You don't have to stop. You just slow down and keep going.
Yes.
But when it's small, you do have to stop, and that creates a backup, it creates the confusion, and creates accidents. They're too small, most of them. And this, to me, is a major. I've spoken about this before to those who are pushing forward the concept of roundabouts, because it's a British idea, really. You don't have them in the United States, as you well know. The nearest thing to that is a clover leaf, and that's sometimes half a mile in diameter.
Yes.
That you have there. The problem with the cars, much too many cars. I mean, no, there has to be restrictions on who can import cars. We're one of the very few countries that allows that. There has to be, and it must be very, very soon, immediate. And people will be upset about it, but we'll have to do it. Bermuda has done it, and people live with it, and they're in the same type of situation. We are also. It takes that one word Mr. Churchill talked about, one of his favorite words, courage. Courage. You know, you will upset some people, but in the long run, it'll be best for us all.
For the masses.
With regards to the people, where we have to reach a situation where we have this overpopulation of outside workers, where we there must be stricter restrictions. It will come about. It will have to. And there will be a situation, someone had suggested, and I did many years ago, that people who come, we should have, as we get more autonomy. I'm glad the Premier and the Honorable the opposition leader at the time pushed forward to get us more autonomy in our Constitution, because we could push forward to a situation where we can control immigration more and not have to bear some of this foolishness about European Union standards of human rights, because that works both ways, and sometimes that human rights thing works against us. We limit those things, and we tell people when you come in, you can sign and say you are willing to work. 90% of the people come here to go back. They don't come here to stay. We all know that. It's best we just say it out loud. And they come here to make some money, and then they go back home, send money home. Let them sign something saying that they will not apply for permanent residency or for citizenship, and they will be allowed to get that 5-year permit or whatever it is. And maybe we should drive forward for that kind of autonomy. I think we can do it, but again, it takes that word, courage.
All right, caller. Thank you so much for calling this show this morning. We have to take a break right now. We'll be back with more and For the Record in just a few minutes.
Today's biggest news.
Radio K-Man.
It's only 2 species that we have, on the island.
Generations present.
Your voice, your choice.
For today's biggest news.
Access to information.
Local, regional, international. This is headlines from Radio K-Man's newsroom team.
Today's biggest news.
Pioneers who contributed to the creation of the first written constitution of the Cayman Islands will be honored at the 2020 National Heroes Day celebrations on Monday, January 27th. The celebrations are set to start at 9 a.m. promptly, with attendees in place by 8:30 a.m. Following the ceremony, the public is invited to stay for live music, free local food, as well as a tour of the exhibits at the Georgetown Library and Constitution Hall. The U.S. Senate has adopted ground rules for U.S. President Donald Trump's impeachment trial after nearly 13 hours of debate on the first day. Democratic prosecutors sparred with Mr. Trump's lawyers over the process, while Republicans rejected their demands for more witnesses. The trial will resume today with arguments by the prosecution to be followed by the defense and questions. And Chinese authorities have urged people to stop traveling in and out of Wuhan, the city at the center of a new virus outbreak that has killed 9 people. The new virus has spread from the town to several Chinese provinces, as well as the U.S., Thailand, and South Korea. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
And thank you for joining us on For the Record this morning. Apologies to the previous caller who we had to cut short because we had to take a news break. We do have a WhatsApp message from someone who says, I saw an unmarked car with blue police lights pull over a car this morning, and the person described the area that they were in and the time frame that it was in. She says, I am a female and oftentimes I'm in my car alone. Can you please tell me if by law anyone has to stop abide by being pulled over by an unmarked police vehicle? I don't know the answer to that question. When the person says unmarked, that means obviously there's no signage on the vehicle. However, if they have a police light, that could be considered a marked vehicle. Because we do know that they have vehicles that, just have the siren lights. So that's part of the answer. But I can get the answer for that question for you. I will reach out to the correct persons and have an answer on that question for the person who wrote the WhatsApp message on For the Record on Friday. All right, we do have one caller on the air. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please excuse me for being so ignorant, but when Ms. Shirley called a while ago in regards to unemployment here in the Cayman Islands for our people, I hope I didn't misunderstood you when you was making your comment back on her call. You said something in regards that a lot of qualified people come here, and in other words, they may be qualified for a position, but they will take, in other words, the closest thing that they can get to say they have a job.
And they do, yes.
But many years ago with immigration, if you came in as a beautician, you had to stay on a beautician permit. Now you can go to immigration and come out from a beautician to a doctor. So what I'm saying is, if we have Caymanians that go abroad and come back here so qualified, and let's say, for example, one of them is a gynecologist, and if they go to apply for a job at a hospital, they don't have any opening, and probably she's too overqualified, but yet we got the orthopedic department open. I mean, so she applied at the orthopedic department for a job knowing that she's a gynecologist? Come on, I tell you, this is crazy and ludicrous to say that we have to take the next of the best. Because if you're qualified for something, I feel that we should be able to stay in that category, because that's what we went to school for, that's what we went to college for, and that's why we put our parents under so much stress to make sure we came back home with the best of our education, to have a good position in our own country. And here we are, settling for less by the hour, by the day, and by the minute, which is so unfair. And like she said, it's not looking good. And believe me, it's not looking good for our people, because they're getting fed up and discouraged. And we, the people of this island, need to stand up. And we, the people of this island in immigration, need to stand up. And if somebody come in as a beautician, you keep that individual under a beautician permit, not a nurse, not a doctor, not a bartender. And that is what's ruining Cayman. And another thing what's ruining Cayman is that people is going home and rollovers. And these jobs are holding that position for a year. And also some of them can even work overseas on their computer. The government need to stop that. That is not fair to a Caymanian. They will never get a job if these guys can go and roll over and come back and still can walk into the office tomorrow morning. They got their apartment, they got their car, and a Caymanian still up here struggling. That's all I have to say this morning. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much, caller. My comments were basically to just share any ideas that I may have had regarding persons reinventing themselves. I totally understand where you're coming from, but in an ideal world, it would be great if we could find a job that everyone could find a job. Particularly our Caymanian people could find a job in their areas of study. That's in an ideal world, but in a realistic world, sometimes you have to just look at ways that you can reinvent yourself, ways that you can get your foot in the door, ways that you can grow and develop into into careers that you studied at. So I just put the idea out there. I didn't want to upset anyone. But yeah, I think as a people we need to start looking at things differently. We're just like the rest of the world in so many ways, where there is unemployment. I don't think there's one country where there's no unemployment. That's the realistic world that we live in. It's unfortunate because we're a small group of people. We're outnumbered. That's the reality of it. So while I understand that people are disheartened and upset, and I as a Caymanian have my own opinions on that I'd rather not share. However, I can share with you that sometimes we just have to take a step back and think about how we can reinvent ourselves, because there are people who come here who are invited guests here, who come here and they reinvent themselves, and they're just as highly qualified, and it's just a reality. So thank you to the caller for calling in and sharing their thoughts with us this morning. And, there are a lot of people who beat the system. There are a lot of people who, find loopholes in the system. We're not exempt from that happening in Cayman. These are things that happens in every country around the world, where people will always try to beat the system. And it is very disheartening, I'm sure, for many, many people. But again, my intention was not to upset anyone, but just to put it out there, just to put an idea out there. So again, you are the listening public. You are our special guest here on For the Record this morning. We have another caller on the air. Thank you so much for calling For the Record.
One of my favorite voices and personalities, Donna Bush. Good morning to you.
Morning, Quincy. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Happy New Year, giving thanks.
Same to you.
And I listen intently to what you're saying, and I see what you're saying. It makes so much sense. And I just want to echo you, because there comes a point in time we have to reinvent ourselves. Yes. The old just doesn't work anymore. I had to do it personally myself. I studied at ICCI, the broadcast management concentration at the associate degree level. Mm-hmm. I also studied in Jamaica at CARIMAC, which is the top Caribbean school of broadcasting. Here I am today in Cayman. I cannot land a job on radio or TV. Mm-hmm. That's fine.
Yes.
I also had to go overseas. I had some personal issues, so I had to go and take care of those issues so that I could make myself employable again, because many of us Caymanians at times, we find ourselves in a position where people will not give us a chance because of our personal choices.
Sure.
If we're self-destructing, et cetera. So I got to a point in my life, I had to go overseas for medical treatment. I did that. I'm back. And after that course of treatment, I returned to Cayman on Monday. And by Wednesday, a government minister contacted me by phone and said, I hear you're back and doing well. Do you need work? I said, yes, Minister, I do. And today I was trained. I went through the regular process. I had to apply. Mm-hmm. I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful to the government for giving me an opportunity, because they realized, now here's a young man who has struggled, but now he did what he's had to do to reinvent himself, to get the necessary help. Let us meet him halfway. And the government did. And today I have a part-time job in tourism. It's not full-time, but it's a part-time job. My toe is in the door, so I just got to apply myself now for upward mobility, which will come once I apply myself. So, yes, we must reinvent ourselves, even though now I would love to be back in media. That's not the case right now. I am thankful for the opportunity to represent the country in tourism. And I would just encourage more Caymanian employers to give us an opportunity. Mm-hmm. It's not a level playing field. I'm not saying that we should be entitled. Some would argue, some politicians, the younger politicians are saying, yes, we should cry entitlement. This is our country. But I realize that we have many people from around the world that now call Cayman home, and we all want a chance. So yes. I'm only asking, though, that Caymanian employers would have a bit of a heart and give our own people a chance. Yes, some have messed up, but give us a chance, because if we're willing and ready to work, we're experienced, we're trained, give us a chance, please. And I just want to echo you in saying that I understand where you're coming from. And that's my 2 cents for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Quincy. At the end of the day, too, sometimes it boils down to the bad apples making it worse for the good apples. There are lots of things in this entire scenario that's making it bad for some people in our community. And I'm just as compassionate towards those persons as more so than I think most people would know. I myself, as I quickly approach retirement age, because it's not very far away, because the years are months now and the months are weeks. I have plans in place for I may not always be in TV, I may not always be in the media. So what am I going to do when that time comes? Because like so many of our Caymanian people who are working past the age of 65 and 70s, and some people even into their 80s, who are not even thinking about retiring because they're, they may be 70, but they're really 50, in the way that they are, and they're healthy beings, and they just want to, may not necessarily, they can't stay in the field that they were in, for most of their life, but you have to think about other areas that you can go into. You have to think about, it all starts from that very resume that you put into a job. Yes, it's easy for employers to say, oh, you're overqualified. But how about you think about this? When you apply for a job, if it looks like a job that you're overqualified for, but you just need the work. So you know what? You go into that interview, and one of the first things that you should discuss with that potential employer is, I know that I am overqualified for this job, but I want you to give me a chance. Like, don't give them the opportunity to come back to you and say, you're overqualified for the job, that's why you didn't get it. I mean, there's just so many steps that goes into the process of when you're seeking employment. It came out as not the days that it used to be where you could just go and call a friend and say, I need some work. Can you help my daughter? Can you help this? We are in a competitive world, and there are lots of people in the lining up for that one post that, 10 years ago may have been open and available to any qualified Caymanian that would go into. So I'm just saying that we need to look at the way that we present ourselves. We need to look at and at reinventing ourselves. And I thank caller Quincy Brown for calling us. What a testimony. He's one of the most talented young Caymanians that I know. I'm so very proud of him. He's a human being first, like all of us. And Quincy, you should know that you're loved by many people, and you will make it because you realize that you have had to go now reinvent yourself and make yourself more qualified for whatever opportunities present yourself out there. Again, we listen and we hear 1 minute. Just, think outside the box and just let's do things differently as a people. Let's be more aggressive with these jobs that we apply for, and so on and so forth. All right, we're going to take a break here on For the Record. Remember, you can call us this morning as our special guest, toll free at 1-800-534-8255, or you can call us directly at 949-8037, or WhatsApp us at 925-3261. We'll be right back.
I remember playing at 7 Mile Beach as a boy, eating mango by the sea, learning how to snorkel. My mother, she worked so hard to provide for our family so that we could have those moments. Seeing her age has been tough. A strong, capable woman, now in need of daily support, it's my time to be strong for her.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of the careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
Each weekday, Monday through Friday, Miracle Brokers is the proud sponsor of Radio Cayman's Bulletin Board. For all your moving needs, call the professionals at Miracle Brokers, 949-5989 or 916-0355. For a free estimate, they take the hassle out of moving. Miracle Brokers.
Now located at 140 Kingbird Drive in the North Sound.
2020 means perfect vision. And if you have your sights set on driving a new hybrid, then the time is now to check out the new RAV4 and CHR. Hold up. Just two of the many hybrid models that Vamped is bringing to Cayman. Whether you're looking for a smoother and quieter way of driving or want a car that maximizes fuel efficiency while minimizing emissions, there are lots of ways a new hybrid from Vamped can make the difference in your life. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries without being plugged in. So focus your 2020 vision on a new hybrid from Vamped Motors, and we will see you through. Come to Vamped, home of the hybrid, located on Walkers Road.
At Seaboard Marine, customers often ask us questions about their shipments.
I have various items coming from different suppliers that I need to ship to Cayman. Do you offer consolidation?
Yes, Seaboard Marine offers consolidation for full and less than container loads. We can hold your packages at our Miami warehouse until everything arrives and ship it all in one go. And we have the best rates to Grand Cayman. Visit seaboardmarine.com for more information.
Shipping shore to shore, Seaboard.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
And welcome back to For the Record. We're within our last 10 minutes here on the show this morning. Remember, you are our special guest this morning, our listening public, and you can give us a call in these last 15 minutes to have some discussions on whatever topic it is that is on your mind this morning that you want the general public to hear about. We've been talking about a number of things from callers this morning, everything from the roundabouts. Some of our callers feel that they're unnecessary, that they don't really work within our road system, that basically they're more of a hindrance than they are of any solutions. As well, one person wants to find out whether the roundabouts are leased and any monies are being paid for the persons who are leasing them. I will find out more about that and have an answer for that person on this coming Friday's show and For the Record. Also, we've been talking about unemployment and persons being disgruntled and disheartened with what they see as injustices within the system of being able to obtain jobs, particularly for our young people, not being able to get jobs for persons who may be taking advantage of the system. But basically it boiled down to the fact that they saw that there was no end in sight for unemployed Caymanians. So, there's been a lot of interesting topics this morning here on For the Record. I started the show this morning with commenting on an article or raising the flag on an article that it's in the Caymanian Times paper today. Titled "The House Should Be the Overseas Territories Home To," and it outlines, it's a story with a Conservative MP for Weston-super-Mare, a seaside town in Somerset, southwest England, John Penrose. Basically, he says that the overseas territories should be treated as equal elements of the UK with the same status as Scotland, England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. This is as we close in on the January 31st date for Brexit to happen. So suggestion there from him further on in the article, which is on page A7 in the Caymanian Times. He says that we are aware that many people in the overseas territories, one of which the Cayman Islands is, feel that they do not receive the attention in Parliament that they might expect, and that the Foreign Affairs Committee has not carried out a major overseas territories inquiry since 2008 to see basically where the minds of the leaders of the overseas territories and the peoples of the overseas territories, how they would actually feel with this type of suggestion and being considered, an equal element of the other parts of the UK. So very, very interesting story. I suggest that you give that a read if you get your hands on the Caymanian Times paper today. Very, very interesting, food for thought, an idea that some may consider to be not such a bad one. So that was a very interesting story there. Also, the Alexander Hotel is reopening. Father and son team, the Dilberts, are reopening the hotel. It's been closed for 6 years. It's unbelievable how time flies. That hotel opened on Kimmenbrack back in 2009 and is now being reopened to accommodate up to 60 guests at any given time. The room space is needed on our sister island, Kimmenbrack, so that will be reopening very soon. So congratulations to them, and I'm sure that this is music to many people's ears on Kimmenbrack, another place for them to be able to stay. Not only our visitors internationally, but certainly from the other two Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman and Little Cayman. You can go over to there, and there are more rooms now available for you to stay. So we look forward to the Alexander reopening. All right, we're going to be ending the show here on For the Record in just a few minutes. So you have your last few minutes to get your comments in. We just got a WhatsApp message. I haven't had a chance to read through it, so let me just do that on the air. It says, "A pleasant good morning to you, Donna. I empathize with you regarding your experience on staying left all the way on the roundabout. I had another motorist who collided into my vehicle while I was staying left all the way. They tried make off and had to be chased and stopped by me. They said, 'Why did you hit my car?' With regards to roundabouts and other junctions where there's a giveaway sign, for the sake of our American visitor tourists who is predominant, it could be considered placing yield in the yield to the bottom of the sign for clarity on their behalf." All right. Thank you for sending that message. Yeah, it's pretty crazy on the roads. But, one thing I do miss, and it goes back to the conversation that I had earlier, is courtesy on our roads. I miss that. Don't you all miss that? Just people being nice to you on the roads in the mornings, letting a car through. If everybody just, was just courteous to their fellow people on the road, it would just be so nice. It would make your morning drives that much more pleasurable. Another thing that really irks me personally is, you give people way and they don't even turn to say, thank you or anything. Just say thank you to the person for letting you out. I mean, it doesn't hurt for you to just wave your hand, toot your horn, whatever it is. Just be nice. Be kind to each other. It makes life a lot better and a lot easier. It makes your days a lot more pleasant to go into as we're going through the long drive to go home. Listen to some music. People are always looking at me like I'm crazy because I'm always singing and moving in my car. It's because I'm listening to music. It makes my day better. But just be nice to people on the roads. It doesn't take very much to be a nice person, just to be courteous to others on the road. All right, so our last few minutes, you can give us a call at 1-800-534-8255. That's toll free. So you don't have to use any of your credit to call us on that number, or you can send us a WhatsApp message at 925-3261. Again, we have Heroes Day that's coming up next Monday, January 27th. It's a day off, but you can spend your morning in downtown Georgetown enjoying what I know will be an amazing event. I myself will be out there working with Radio Cayman for the morning, so I look forward to it. I think it's an important day in our history, and as many of you that may be out there listening, just get dressed up in your Sunday best and come and enjoy a few hours of just seeing old friends and sometimes even family, because we don't even have time to see our families these days a lot of the times. So yeah, that's going to be a great time. It starts at 9:00 in the morning. Organizers are asking that you be seated by 8:30 in the morning. Again, that's next week, Monday, the 27th of January in downtown Georgetown, Hero Square. And Hero Square is getting nicely done up and re-renovated and refurbished, and I think it's going to be spectacular. So, and it's a big surprise. So don't you like surprises, people? All right. Well, it's been a great pleasure for you to join us this morning on For the Record. I really appreciate the calls this morning. I appreciate our pop-up guest, Mr. Loxley Banks, who told us a little bit about his show, CI Retro, which really looks back at the history, the heritage, and the culture of the Cayman Islands and our people. And his show is in a series of, right now, talking about the written constitution and the history that surrounds that. A lot of research and amazing work goes into putting that show together. He has some 90 minutes of archived audio interviews with various persons from our community, some who are still with us, some who are not, who talk about the history and our surrounding our written constitution and women getting the right to vote and women being able to stand for elections back in 1959. So that's going to be a very interesting series. The first of which starts this coming Friday. So that's CI Retro here on Radio Cayman. You can go online to look at the schedule to see when that show will be coming on. All right, so I thank you very much for joining us here on For the Record for today. We'll be back with you on Friday morning at 7:30. Until then, I wish you a wonderful day today and another wonderful day tomorrow. Enjoy the weather and, have a great day.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Cayman Pharmacy Group, with a location in West Bay and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. Seaboard Marine, with over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling 949-4977 or visit seaboardmarine.com for competitive rates. Rotary Central, for more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. Fidelity Bank, for all your banking needs, visit fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you. And Roper's Janitorial, complete janitorial service for commercial, industrial, and residential. They get the job done right every time.
Continuing the Caymanian tradition.
Let Cora keep my ground so clean.
The heart and soul of the Cayman people. Thank you for keeping the culture alive.
Spread the news every day. From East End to Georgetown, down into West Bay.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.